What's going on, traders? Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. Welcome to your market recap video. It's July 6th of 2022. I want to thank you for your patience. Yesterday we did not put out a recap video. I am in Long Island. My parents had a bit of an issue with their home, so we are staying at an Airbnb right now. I'm hanging out with them for a couple days and we're getting everything sorted out. So you'll see my beautiful background behind me. This is just the glorious Airbnb. But thank you so much for your patience. Let's take a look at these markets. We have a lot to talk about today. The S&P 500, it finished up 0.34%. Our NASDAQ QQQ finished up 0.64%. IWM small caps were a weak sauce, down 0.74%. Our dogs of the Dow were up a smidge, up 0.23%. And our ARK Innovation ETF was down a cool 2.25%. Pretty much all of these indices closed towards the midway points of their day's range, except for ARK. We did get a volatility crush across the board. Breadth was mixed, but the small caps were weak, and that is not good. We only had 30.4% up volume, but my trend model flipped to a +3. And there's a lot of questions out there. This being a really wonky marketplace, what does the strong dollar mean? What do higher yields mean? What does the Fed policy mean? What does this inflation mean? And I do think there's a lot of players out there in the market. I'm about to give you a huge gem here. There's a lot of players in the market that take that approach. I need to understand what the Fed's going to do. I need to understand what the dollar means, what the bond yields mean, what this means, what that means, what every piece of news I read means. And I need to take all of those inputs and create a market view based on that. And based on that, I'm going to choose whether the market's going up or down. And all my success depends on whether I chose right. For me, I love thinking about those questions as well. Those are just fascinating questions to contemplate. But at the end of the day, what matters to me the most is, what does my trend model look like? And what do the individual stocks look like? Are there stock setups or are there not? Right now we're seeing plentiful stock setups, and my trend model just flipped to a +3. So that's really what I'm going off of for the time being. Finviz heat map, check this out. Our energy stocks are leading to the downside. That is a beautiful thing. That means nature is healing, team. Remember, the first half of the year was a struggle. It was horrible. The indices were down 20 to 30%. It was terrible. And what was leading the market was energy. Now the energy is starting to fall to the wayside. We're seeing some of these other areas in the market, like the FANG stocks, beginning to look much more healthy. Sectors. Biotech is now in our top momentum slot. And Chinese tech took a bit of a beating today. It's now in our number 3 momentum slot. Now, this is not a problem. I'm still long some FXI call options. Those expire in about 6 months. And for me personally, I'm up about like 65 to 70% on those because I got a good trade location. In this market, given that it's a bit of a tougher challenge, trade location matters. If you're buying stocks after they rip 30% in 5 days, most likely you're getting stopped out. But if you're catching these trends as they are forming and as they're developing, that's where you can really catch a nice opportunity. If you're interested in just staying on top of these trends and monitoring them like a hawk and just identifying some of these turning points, that is really the primary goal of what we do at Pristine Capital. So go ahead, check out the website. If you're interested in joining the trading group, definitely check that out. Shameless plug over. Let's dive back into the video. And let's check this out. So sectors, very mixed board. Style factors, we had our Minvol up 0.64% today. And we had quality up 0.55%. Everything else was pretty weak, right? Let's take a look here. Trades for the day. What did I do today? Now remember, I'm dealing with some issues at home. Not going to lie. I just want to be fully transparent with you. Dealing with issues at home. And not only that, but I'm already 99% long. And I have positions in all of these leading groups. And the real reason why, it's not like, oh, I'm such a great trader or anything like that. We have really good infrastructure in place that allows us to stay on top of which sectors are trending. So we have our dark index and trend dashboard that we put out for members every day around like 6:30 or 7 p.m. And that's allowing us to see in real time, all on one page, how are these names trending? What is recapturing key moving averages? So I do have some exposure to biotech. I do have some exposure to China, healthcare, all these groups that are trending positively, which is good. So when that's the case, and when we're getting binary data points, for me, less is more in terms of the trading. My goal for my strategy is I want to place the least amount of trades to get to my desired goal. There's nothing about my trading strategy, that wants me to trade more. I don't get a thrill out of trading more. I'm in this to make money. I'm not in it for the button clicks. Remember, it's all about what happens in between the button clicks. That is super important. And in order to have a really good experience as a trader, it's not like, you're sitting at the desk for 19 hours a day and you're watching every tick and all that. That you can do it for a while. And don't get me wrong, I spend most of my days working and just grinding stuff out. It's like I absolutely love, the entire process end to end. But when you're trading, one of your goals should be is this is really about freedom, isn't it? So you want to be super disciplined and you want to have your routines and you never want to deviate from your routines. You never want to miss doing your pre-market homework. You never want to miss your weekend watch list. You never want to miss all these key things. But that said, once your homework is done and you got your plans in place, you don't get paid more to just sit in front of the screen and toil over which stock to trade or anything like that. So yeah, it's a good way of just helping you reclaim your freedom, honestly. All right, so let's take a look at these headline indices. Let's see what's going on here. So the S&P 500, we are up 0.08% in the after-hours session. And check this out. This is the most important part of the video. S&P 500, where did it close out? Let's zoom in and get really tight in here. So we closed just above this 20-day simple moving average. That is bullish. Look what happened the last time we attempted that 20-day. We got absolutely rejected hard. Take a look at this other prior instance as well. Back here in May, we actually got above the 20-day. We were hanging out for a while. Then we had a violent rip below it. Same thing back here in early May. We tried to test it. We failed. So this is a key level. And the fact that we're above it, that invites in trend following strategies. So that is super important. That's another tailwind that this market has behind it. Let's look very briefly at our hourly chart and check out what we're seeing there. We're going to keep this as brief as possible. And I would say the Fed minutes today, they were pretty much a nothing burger. We didn't find out anything new. One thing that was very interesting about those Fed minutes is, and you can see here on this hourly chart, we tested above this weekly value area. We failed. Now we're trading up in here. But we're getting this nice tight action up here. I think the path of least resistance is a trip outside this weekly value area. But Fed minutes, I digress. So they said, hey, when we got that CPI report in May, that was a huge game changer. And that really adjusted everything. The Fed was going to do a 50 basis point rate hike. Once that May CPI report came out in mid-June, then all of a sudden the probability switched. They ended up doing their 75 basis point rate hike. We're going to be getting the next CPI print. It's coming out on July 13th. And we have reason to believe, based on our homework and our detailed breakdown of the numbers, that there's a good chance we get a deceleration on that CPI report. And that's something that I do hang my hat on because we did the work on that. So we do have an edge on that upcoming CPI report. And if it comes out softer than expected or it comes out as a deceleration, I do think the market has room to go to the upside, especially these high growth stocks. Let's pull up our Russell 2000. And you can see we're struggling at that 20-day simple moving average for the Russell. And then our Dow Jones is up 0.05%. Now let's take a look. Let's just pull up some of the names that we've been trafficking in. Global E, this is the largest position I have on in my portfolio. I am pretty confident that this is going to end up being a double bagger for me, because I bought this stock literally on this candle the day the stock bottomed out. This was when it reported earnings. My cost basis right now is about 17 and change. Right now we're at 23 bucks. My initial target is this VPOC up here. So we'll see how the stock does. I just think a lot of these high growth stocks, I do believe that they have bottomed out. And then what else do we have on the books? PRVA. This was a stock I put on, and for a couple days it was doing absolutely nothing. And now it's starting to move out. This is PRVA. What else do we have here? Funko. was one of the names from our Pristine Capital weekend watch list. And this one is also moving nicely to the upside. So we're getting a lot of stocks that are deviating from the headline indices. And Mark Minervini says this a lot. Even for me, like I'm a trading educator, I run a trading community. I want to make sure that I am learning from the guys that are the best in the game that have been doing this for a long time. And so for me, one of the people I look up to is Mark Minervini. The guy's a legend. He's won the U.S. Investing Championship multiple times. Absolutely awesome. And his philosophy, this is something I'm beginning to adopt more and more as I progress, is that you almost want to take the headline indices off of your screen and just look at individual stocks. And his philosophy is you'll do much better if you do that, because the individual stocks are really what lead you into the turns in the headline indices. And what we're seeing here right now is, there's a lot of individual stocks that are making the turn and they're starting to look a lot better. With that said, let's pause it for the night there. Hope you all had an awesome trading session today. Again, thank you so much for your patience. The audio quality on this may or may not be fantastic, but wanted to make sure we still got this out for you. Be sure, hit the like button on the video, hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. As always, we will see you all tomorrow.